The distress beacon pulsed through the void, a desperate plea from the Zenthri research station orbiting the gas giant Helios 7. Director Velker's 3 Yantoks quivered as he watched the sensor readings. The CRE raiders would breach their shields within the hour, and the nearest Galactic Coalition fleet was 2 cycles away. "The beacon is active," his communications officer chirped, her bioluminescent patches flickering nervously. "Surely the Mthodian cruisers will." The station shuddered. 30 minutes, perhaps less. When the response came, Velker's heart sank. The signature was wrong. Too hot. Too aggressive. The engines burned, screaming with barely contained fusion reactions that no civilized species would dare use so close to a research station. "Director," the officer whispered, her voice trembling. "The response signature, it's from the quarantine zone. It's human." Velker's skin rippled with fear patterns. Humans. The Deathworlders. The species whose home planet was a catalog of horrors. Crushing gravity, violent weather, predators at every level of the food chain, and oceans that could swallow entire continents. The species whose very evolution was an arms race against their own environment. The Galactic Coalition had made contact with humanity 3 cycles ago, and the reports still caused nightmares. They were children. Their species barely had fusion technology, still squabbling among themselves, and hadn't even unified their homeworld. And yet, their soldiers moved like precision hunting machines. Their reflexes were impossible, and their tolerance for damage was obscene. "Should we cancel the beacon?" the officer asked. Another shudder. The CRE were breaching Deck 7. "No," Velker said quietly. "We have no choice." Orla checked her restraints for the 3rd time as the dropship shook through atmospheric entry. Across from her, Lewis was grinning. Actually grinning as he loaded his rifle. "First real deployment," he said, his voice crackling through the helmet comms. "Beats training sims at Luna Base." "We're 16, Orla reminded him, though her own excitement was hard to contain. The UN Rapid Response Initiative had been controversial. Using teenage soldiers, even volunteers, seemed barbaric to the other species. But humans matured fast on the cosmic scale, and someone had to answer distress calls while the main fleet was dealing with the CRE incursion in the Tur sector. 16 in human years, Lewis corrected. That's like, what did the Zenthri liaison say? Fully mature adult warriors by their standards. The dropship's AI interrupted. 30 seconds to deployment. Station shields at 12%. Hostile count. 47 CRE raiders armed with plasma cutters and kinetic weapons. Civilian count. 133 Zenthri researchers. Rules of engagement. Protect civilians. Neutralize hostiles. Orla's heartbeat kicked up, not from fear, but from the adrenaline her body was already pumping. Earth's gravity was 2.3 times what these aliens had evolved in. Her muscles, her bones, her reflexes, all built for a world that tried to kill you. The dropship doors blew open. Velker watched through security feeds as the human soldiers moved through his station. There were only 6 of them. 6 children against 47 CRE raiders who had terrorized the outer colonies for generations. It wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration. The girl, Orla, her tag red, moved like liquid death. She crossed a corridor in 3 bounds that would have taken Velker 20 steps. Her weapon tracked targets with mechanical precision. A CRE raider fired at her center mass. The kinetic round hit her chest plate, and she staggered but didn't fall. Didn't slow. She returned fire, and the raider's shields collapsed under the sustained barrage. The boy, Lewis, was worse. He had somehow gotten behind a group of 5 raiders, moving through maintenance shafts that were barely large enough for Zenthri. Impossible for beings from a high-gravity world. Except humans were also persistence hunters, evolved to chase prey until it collapsed. Tight spaces didn't slow him. He emerged from a ceiling vent, and the fight was over in seconds. "By the spiral," Velker's officer whispered. "They're not even fully grown." On the feeds, Orla kicked down a barricaded door. Simply kicked it with enough force to buckle the reinforced metal. Inside, a dozen Zenthri researchers cowered. She raised a hand, palm out, and spoke in carefully learned Zentharian. Safe now. Stay here. Her accent was terrible, but her meaning was clear. 20 minutes after deployment, the station was secure. Orla found Lewis in the command center, helping Director Velker restore communications. The cavalry is here, Lewis announced, pointing at the sensors. Amphodian cruiser was dropping out of FTL. Fashionably late as usual. Velker approached them cautiously, his stalks lowered in respect. You saved us. The CRE have raided 17 stations this cycle. The Coalition has been unable to stop them. They move fast, Orla acknowledged, checking her rifle's charge. But they're not used to fighting species that evolved as both predator and prey. Earth taught us to be flexible. You are so young, Velker said softly. How can your people send younglings into war? Lewis and Orla exchanged glances. We volunteered, Lewis said simply. Humanity spent 10,000 years fighting each other. Now we've got a galaxy that needs protecting, and we're pretty good at the protecting part. He smiled. Besides, someone has to answer your distress calls while waiting for the adults to show up. Velker watched them prepare to return to their ship. These impossible children from an impossible world. The Galactic Coalition had been hesitant to accept humanity. They had called them dangerous, unstable, too violent. Watching Orla help an injured researcher to the medical bay with a gentleness that contradicted her earlier ferocity, Velker understood the truth. Humanity was dangerous, yes, but perhaps the galaxy needed a little danger on its side. As the human dropship departed, Velker updated his report. Recommend immediate escalation of human integration into Coalition defense forces. Their children have accomplished what our veterans could not. The Deathworlders had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same.